Hey there, I'm Maz, and welcome to Maz Show. This is your space to explore big ideas through books, society, knowledge, and history, all with one goal to build a better world and a brighter future. If you are curious, reflective, and ready to grow, you're in the right place. So tap follow, hit subscribe, and let's get thinking.
26 suitcases, 700 kilos of cocaine, and two French military pilots walk into an airport sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? Today, we're diving into the incredible true story of the Air Cocaine case, where a routine flight turned into an international scandal. You'll learn how two respected pilots ended up behind bars, orchestrated a movie-worthy escape, and eventually walked free.
And what makes this case so fascinating is how it challenges our assumptions about who gets involved in drug trafficking.
Let's start with that fateful night in March 2013. What exactly went down at Punta Cana Airport?
Well, it was March 19th, 2013. A Falcon 50 private jet was preparing for a night flight to Saint-Tropez, France. The pilots, Pascal Faure and Bruno Odos, were going through their usual pre-flight routine when suddenly they were blinded by helicopter searchlights. Dominican Republic National Police swarmed the runway, and what they found next was staggering.
How much are we talking about here?
26 suitcases containing approximately 700 kilograms of cocaine. In today's market, we're talking about 500 million euros worth.
€500 million? That's insane.
And here's where it gets interesting. These weren't just any pilots. Both Faure and Odos were former military pilots with the highest level of clearance in the French army.
What do you mean by highest level of clearance?
They were actually cleared to transport nuclear weapons during their military service. That's how trusted they were.
From nuclear weapons to cocaine, that's quite a career change.
Well, that's where their defense comes in. They maintained from day one that they had no idea what was in those suitcases.
Come on. 26 suitcases for a short stay in Punta Cana? Didn't that raise any red flags?
Their lawyers actually came up with what they called the taxi driver defense, arguing that pilots, like taxi drivers, aren't responsible for checking what's in their passengers' luggage.
Interesting analogy. But I'm guessing the Dominican authorities weren't buying it?
Not at all. They were sentenced to 20 years in prison.
But they didn't serve those 20 years, did they?
No, and this is where the story gets really wild. They were initially placed under house arrest.
House arrest? For a major drug trafficking charge?
Exactly. And in 2015, they took advantage of that freedom to orchestrate one of the most dramatic escapes you could imagine.
Tell me about this escape. How did they pull it off?
It was codenamed Dinner in Paris and involved fake adult films, multiple hotel transfers in Santo Domingo, and ultimately a fishing boat to St. Martin.
Wait, fake adult films? How did that factor in?
It was apparently part of their cover story, though the exact details are still murky. The whole operation was orchestrated by French professionals.
And France's official position on this escape was?
They denied any official involvement. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Once the pilots made it back to France, they were actually protected from extradition.
Protected? Even though they were convicted in the Dominican Republic?
Yes, but they weren't completely off the hook. They still faced charges in France.
And what happened with those charges?
Initially, they were sentenced to 6 years in prison by a French court in 2019.
But that wasn't the end of the story, was it?
No, they appealed the verdict, and in 2021, they were actually acquitted.
Acquitted? After all that?
Yes, the French authorities claimed there wasn't enough evidence to prove their direct participation in the drug smuggling operation.
But there's something that doesn't add up here. Let's talk about the passenger, Nicolas Pisapia.
Ah, yes, this is where the investigation gets really interesting. It wasn't his first time flying with these pilots.
What do you mean?
According to the investigation, he had made several previous trips with them, to Puerto Plata in December 2012 and to Quito, Ecuador in February 2013.
Nothing suspicious about multiple trips, right?
Well, here's the red flag. Investigators couldn't find any payment records for these trips. Private jet flights aren't exactly cheap.
So who was paying for these flights?
That's exactly what Christine Saunier-Roulon, the Marseille magistrate investigating the case, wanted to know.
And what did she find?
She discovered suspicious messages between the pilots and their aviation company managers, but ultimately it wasn't enough to secure a conviction in France.
So the case is completely closed now?
Not exactly. While they're free in France, the charges are still active in the Dominican Republic.
Meaning they probably won't be vacationing in Punta Cana anytime soon.
Definitely not. And the case raised serious questions about international drug trafficking networks and judicial cooperation.
What kind of questions?
Well, the Dominican Attorney General questioned how two people sentenced to 20 years could be under such loose house arrest in the first place.
That does seem like a pretty big oversight.
And there were suggestions of high-ranking government officials being involved, though nothing was ever proven.
It's interesting how this case exposed gaps in international law enforcement.
Exactly. When different countries have different standards of evidence and different legal systems, cases like this can fall through the cracks.
And what about the cocaine? What happened to it?
The drugs were seized by Dominican authorities, but the bigger question is about all the other flights that might have gone undetected.
You mean this might not have been the first successful run?
Given the sophistication of the operation and the previous flights with the same passenger, many investigators believe this wasn't their first attempt.
But we'll never know for sure, will we?
No, and that's what makes this case so fascinating. There are still so many unanswered questions.
Like, how did they really plan that escape?
And who was really behind the whole operation? The pilots? The passenger? Someone else entirely?
It's like a puzzle where we're missing half the pieces.
And everyone involved seems to have a different version of the truth.
So what's the takeaway from all this?
I think it shows how complex international drug trafficking cases can be, and how different legal systems can sometimes work against each other.
And maybe that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely. I mean, who would believe a story about military pilots, cocaine, fake adult films, and a fishing boat escape?
It does sound more like a Netflix series than real life. Oh wait, it is a Netflix series now.
And that's perhaps the most fitting end to this story. It was so incredible, it had to be made into a show.
Remember, folks, if you're ever offered 26 suitcases for a 2-day trip, maybe ask what's inside.
Show, let's go, open up your mind and grow. Facts and stories, things you never know. Every episode, we light the glow. Step into the world of Maz Show. Turn it up, let the rhythm flow. Feel the beat, take control. Don't be shy, just let it go. This is where the magic grows. Tune in now, it's the Maz Show. Lights up bright and minds will glow. Every day we learn and grow. Come along and join the flow. New ideas begin to shine. Breaking limits, crossing lines. Every moment feels divine. In the world of Maz Show time. Turn it up, let the rhythm flow. Feel the beat, take control. Don't be shy, just let it go. This is where the magic grows. Tune in now, it's the Maz Show. Lights up bright and minds will glow. Every day we learn and grow. Come along and join the flow.